K24 Evening Edition, and of course we do want to get into our interview tonight to try and make sense of what is happening in the country as far as the IPOA report is concerned. And joining me is Jacqueline Mwenesi Lukalo, who is a commissioner at IPOA. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for making time for this conversation tonight. Let's just start with this one. In recent cases, or rather, let me start with this particular question. What next after this particular report?
After this particular report, we are going to make sure that it is fully implemented. We are going to engage our stakeholders, which include the National Police Service, the Treasurer, the Minister, to ensure that every bullet of this report is implemented to the latter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when it comes to implementation, have you experienced, a laxity when it comes to implementing some of the reports that have been issued by IPOA when it comes to matters, National Police Service, and also just investigating all issues to do with police brutality?
I wish to say that initially there was that resistance, but after inception of the new board, we had a high-level stakeholder engagement with the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, the Principal Secretary, the Inspector General, and other stakeholders. And I can say for a fact that there is a very serious turnaround in investigations as to compared to what was happening, even the reporting. There is that bad blood between IPOA and police. We have tried to close the gap. So I can say for a fact we are moving on well, because despite the fact that we have not yet achieved what we wanted, like in this report you can see they only reported 5 cases against 65, but I can say that that resistance is at a minimal level. Initially they were not giving the ballistics, when they go to demonstrate they were hiding the tags, they were not revealing so much information. But after those high-level engagements with us, I can say that we are headed in the right direction.
Let me ask, you mentioned the issue to do with a little bit of lack of, how do I call it, cooperation initially, and in terms of how many cases had been reported. And right now you say that the relationship between IPOA and the National Police Service seems to have improved. Let me get you understand from you exactly what led to this particular change when it comes to this working relationship that seems to be heading in the right direction.
With the coming of the new board, we had a meeting and we said that we want to put the board into a higher level. In the 6-year term, we have something that we can put on the table that we have achieved. So, and we discovered that at the mention of IPOA, the police will shrink. So you find that most of the fatality cases, they don't report. Or rather, they try to come, there's what is called the blue code of silence. The police cannot talk or reveal information against another police. So we sat down and said, we need to have that engagement. Because ideally you find that when there's a death in either custody, they have to report to us. And we have to go and now code the crime scene and start doing investigation. And when you are doing investigation, they're the same police who are supposed to give us that information. You find that even when you have like a bullet, we have to use them to safeguard, because we don't have where to put those bullets or guns. So we discovered that most cases were actually, IPOA was losing cases because of those evidence and such like things. So after having that high-level engagement, we had to break that ice. And if you can compare the current IG, Mr. Kanja, vis-a-vis his predecessor, Kome, who even went on camera to say that IPOA was a busybody. So you can say, you can actually attest to that. We have actually tried to break that bad blood. And having said that, even the cases we are convicting, the police themselves would actually agree with us and say, to be honest, this man went out of control. So you see, they are even agreeing with us. Right now, any death in custody, I can tell you for free, the police are reporting like nobody's business. And like when we came into office and we were getting the report that they were actually not reporting, they were not giving evidence like that. So I can tell you, for as per now, we are 7 months in office, but there's a lot that I can say that we have tried to break that hostility between IPOA and the police.
Okay, my last question will be, looking at the report, there are some areas that have reported quite a high number of fatalities, and I'd just like to understand, from these particular investigations that you were conducting, what exactly was the systemic issue that you could point out to and say the number of fatalities in this particular region were higher because of this, and this? Was there excessive use of force compared to other regions?
I can say that from where I sit, the level of force used by police, I can say it is used by police range from reasonable to excessive. For example, in Mombasa, the police successfully disarmed the tensions and did not use unreasonable force against protesters, for example. However, in other areas, there was a documentation of instances of fatal force, which I can tell for a fact that we are investigating to determine whether the force was justified or not. And these findings will actually inform the nature of recommendations IPOA will make to the ODPP. But I can say that some areas, we could even see in those videos that were circulating a little bit of excessive use. And I also want to commend the police who talked to civilians, who were even talking to demonstrators, Okay. They were engaging and making sense to them. So as we are going to make our recommendations to the ODPP, we are going to actually bring out those areas that there were excessive use of force. Because ideally, the force used by police should be vis-a-vis to that mistake that civilian is doing. But 3/4 of most of the areas, I can say for a fact, the force was excess.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for this, helping us to make sense of what is happening in the country as far as this particular report is concerned. We do thank you and appreciate your time. All right, time to take a break here on K24 Evening Edition. We'll be back with more stories here on the program. Don't go too far.